Ukraine took out more than 5,000 Russian soldiers from battle, killing, wounding or imprisoning the troops, after Russian forces attempted to collect intel on Ukrainian defense capabilities in Vuhledar, according to a report. A Ukrainian official told Politico the Ukrainians eliminated the thousands of soldiers, including members of an elite Russian brigade, when the 155th Naval Infantry troops stormed the coal mining town in the Donetsk region in late January. Ukrainian soldiers also killed the brigade's command staff and destroyed 130 pieces of equipment, including 36 tanks, said Oleksiy Dmytrashkivsky, head of the United Press Center of the Tavrisky district of Ukrainian Defense Forces. He added that Russian forces were typically losing 150 to 300 Marines a day near Vuhledar. However, some estimates are even higher. UK officials said a stunning 824 Russian troops are dying each day, citing Ukrainian General Staff updates. A rate of 824 deaths per day is about 4 times higher than the mean in June-July 2022, the UK government said. Dmytrashkivsky said the elite 155th Brigade has needed new manpower 3 times. The 155th Brigade already had to be restaffed 3 times. The first time after Irpin and Bucha, the second time they were defeated near Donetsk, they recovered again, he told Politico. And now almost the entire brigade has already been destroyed near Vuhledar. Ukrainian Marines posted a video of Russian troops piling up on a battlefield near Vuhledar. Go make a cemetery. Gosh, the first column went there and blew up, and then the second one went exactly the same route, Ukrainian artillerymen said on the video, according to the outlet. Russian nationalists fretted over the defeat, with some Russian military bloggers calling for public trials against high-ranking commanders who they say have been repeating the same mistakes. They questioned commanders for sending out elite troops as the first line of defense, the Institute for the Study of War reported in its most recent update. Ex-Russian paramilitary commander Igor Girkin, who is serving a life sentence for the downing of Malaysia Airlines Flight 17, called Russian generals complete morons, who don't learn from their own mistakes. In a Telegram military blog he writes under the pseudonym Igor Strelkov. UK defense officials said there are a number of reasons for higher Russian losses. The uptick in Russian casualties is likely due to a range of factors including lack of trained personnel, coordination and resources across the front. This is exemplified in Vuhledar and Bakhmut, the Defense Intelligence update stated. A Ukrainian counteroffensive has virtually cut off the Russian-occupied southern city of Kherson and left thousands of Russian troops stationed near the Dnipro River highly vulnerable, according to British defense and intelligence officials. Ukraine has made clear it intends to recapture Kherson, which fell to Russia in the early days of the invasion launched by Russian President Vladimir Putin on February 24. On Thursday, Ukraine presidential advisor Oleksiy Arestovich said the operation to liberate Kherson has already begun. Kyiv's forces, he said, were planning to isolate Russian troops there and leave them with 3 options: to retreat, if possible, surrender or be destroyed. The British military estimated that Ukraine's counteroffensive in Kherson is gathering momentum. Their forces have highly likely established a bridgehead south of the Ingulets River, which forms the northern boundary of Russian-occupied Kherson, the British Defense Ministry said on Thursday. It added that Ukraine has used its new long-range artillery to damage at least 3 of the bridges across the Dnieper River. Russia's 49th Army, stationed on the west bank of the Dnipro River, now looks highly vulnerable, it said in a regular intelligence bulletin on Twitter, adding that Kherson was virtually cut off from the other territories occupied by Russia. Its loss would severely undermine Russia's attempts to paint the occupation as a success. The 1,000-meter-long Antonivsky Bridge over the Dnieper River was attacked on Wednesday. After previous Ukrainian attacks damaged the bridge last week, it was closed to trucks, but it had remained open for passenger vehicles until the latest strike. The bridge is the main crossing over the Dnieper in the Kherson region. Knocking the crossings out would make it hard for the Russian military to keep supplying its forces in the region. The only other option is a dam at a hydroelectric plant in Kakhovka, which also came under Ukrainian fire last week but has remained open. We are doing everything to ensure that the occupying forces do not have any logistical opportunities in our country, President Volodymyr Zelensky said in a Wednesday evening address. Russian officials had earlier said they would turn instead to pontoon bridges and ferries to get forces across the Dnieper River. Still, the attack was a morale boost for the Ukrainians as the war enters its sixth month. Russian forces are grinding through the Donbass region of eastern Ukraine and occupy around a fifth of the country. But Ukrainian forces in recent weeks have been clawing back territory in the Kherson region. Their counteroffensive, supported by Western-supplied long-range artillery, has seen its forces push closer to Kherson city, which had a pre-war population of under 300,000 people. Oleksiy Danilov, Secretary of Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council, earlier tweeted that Russia was concentrating the maximum number of troops in the direction of the Kherson but gave no details. Arestovich, the presidential advisor, said Russia was conducting a massive redeployment of forces from the east to the south in what amounted to a strategic shift from attack to defense. The most recent estimate from the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, was that 15,000 Russian forces had been killing in fighting. The Russian military last reported its losses in March, when it said that 1,351 troops were killed in action and 3,825 were wounded.